Mr. Steve Rice with us today, who is our guest speaker and who will be leading this webinar. So, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and just pass it off to you.
Kate, thank you so much. Again, my name is Steve Rice. I'm with IP Video Corporation, the manufacturer of the Halo product. Just as a way of background for myself, been in the security industry for over 20 years, have been involved with IP Video over the last 5. I'm responsible for all of our channel development throughout the world, and excited to be with you here today. As IP Video Corporation has a very unique product called Halo, and from that we've been around since 1996. We are a New York company. What's important in that is you'll see the flag down below is that what we talk about in terms of products are all manufactured in the U.S. All of our R&D is in the U.S., so we're excited that to be a U.S. company, if you will. We have a large following for Halo across the country. We have over 700 dealers and about 8,000 Halos across the country and across the world installed that we're going to talk about today. Some of the other products that we sell, just briefly, is one is our AV Fusion. AV Fusion is often used in schools with respect to if there's a concern about the interviews between parents and teachers and administration when it comes to confronting the issues of vaping and so forth in a school. This becomes an excellent product for that. If your schools are looking for a way to deter weapons from getting into the school, ViewScan plays a significant role there. And True Security Design is a way, if you're looking for help with process and procedures for establishing that for vaping incidents, we have a group that can help you there. So, but the exciting part today is to really talk about Halo. My intentions are today is to give you a good understanding of what the Halo product actually does, how it helps in schools, and to actually do a live demo so that you can get a real good sense of how it works. So let's get started. So what is the Halo Smart Sensor? Actually, it's a device that is installed in the ceiling of your privacy areas. Usually, we've seen it go in classrooms and hallways and stairwells, but its major focus has been in putting into restrooms where you find students using those places to do the vaping kinds of activities that they do. It has really 6 main things that it does, and that's from the standpoint of monitoring the quality of the air, monitoring vaping activities, monitoring aggressive behavior, monitoring gunshots. So it provides you with a great broad breadth of not only being something that's security based, but also environmentally based. Because statistics will tell you, some of the sums that we've seen actually from Stanford University, that vaping activity is a great carrier of particulates that may have been contaminated as well with COVID. So we have the means by which to monitor those kinds of activities with this device. It's the kind of device that installs in a ceiling. It's like a network device. It gets power from the network. It's easy to install. It's basically ability to insert in a flush mount or a drywall ceiling, or we have a surface mount adapter that comes with the device that you can use if you've got hardened ceilings that you want to put it on, like cinder block or concrete. So the exciting part is that some people ask, well, okay, I have this device up, it's working well. How do I know with confidence that it's not creating false alarms? Well, because it has 12 unique sensors in it, we're doing a lot to capture a great number of readings As you can see here, 1 million plus readings per day, that these are all working together to create the right kind of understanding of the events that may be occurring in your schools to eliminate those false alarms. The way it also works, when I show you the demo, you see it, is that we go about detecting what's gone beyond a certain threshold. So we make sure that you'll have your normal activity in a school that's going on. So when you set these devices up, we're wanting to make sure we're catching the abnormal events in your buildings, not the normal events. So that's an important part of how we set up the thresholds for these devices. Its simplicity also comes from the fact that you don't have to be monitoring these devices continually to know when events will occur. Because of the way the notifications and the alarms are set up, we can send you text messages, we can send you emails, and we can send messages to other systems that may be integrated with ours, like video management systems, so that you can get the video verification that you need to go along with the event that may be happening in the bathroom from a privacy standpoint, since cameras can't go there, which is important to know in the last point that does see here, that the Halo is not a camera. It is not something that's going to violate any video or audio privacy issues. We're not recording any kind of audio, even though we're able to capture aggressive behavior, because we're dealing with the analytics and the metadata and the what I'll call the signatures of voices, not the voice itself. So keep that in mind, is that it's important to know that this is not compromising any of those key areas in terms of privacy when you put those in the restrooms. Its coverage model is the type where if it's in a bathroom, think of it as being able to do between a 12-foot area with an 8 to a 9-foot ceiling, which usually equates to between 3 and 4 stalls in a bathroom. So keep that in mind as you think about how to use the device. Okay, so talking a little bit about what are some of the signatures that the Halo is monitoring. So when we talk about audio analytics, we talk about aggressive behavior that may be going on, yelling or screaming. The key part about this is we're able to understand abnormal noise levels. So, for example, if you are passing between periods, we begin to learn that if the bell's going off, that's not an abnormal noise that we should be paying attention to. So it has the machine learning in it so that we can more accurately determine what's a appropriate abnormal noise versus normal loud noises. Just recently, we added the ability to understand gunshots and understand keywords. So if you in your schools have a student, I should say more of a faculty member that's in a difficult situation and needs assistance, then something like help 911 can be used as a keyword to make those notifications that can be sent out that we talked about by text or email. The same is true with the gunshot type events. The other area is in air quality. Now, because of the unfortunate situation we find ourselves in with the pandemic and COVID, we're able to not only help you understand vaping, which THC is, and that's something that only IP video with its Halo can do. The indoor air quality is something that helps us to let you know when we need to adjust the environmentals in the building and work with your what's called your heating and air conditioning systems to create the right and positive environment for learning. The other thing that's new with regards to air quality and vaping and so forth is that students have gotten clever over the 2 years that we've had the product out with regards to masking, where they'll take and spray aerosol or something like that to try to quote unquote hide or mask their vaping activity that follows right after that aerosol spray. So we've learned to adjust to that and provide the right signature to know when masking is going on. So that's pretty exciting. From a chemical side, we know when you might be cleaning a bathroom from some of the things that you may be using or shouldn't be using. We can tell you about your carbon monoxide levels, things that are related to volatile organic compounds and so forth, so that, again, we keep a very clean environment and make sure you're aware of what's going on there. From a lighting standpoint, we can tell you about if a student decides to cover the device because it will block the light. So we have sensitivity to what the light levels are in the school and where the halos are. We can also help with building efficiency when you want to have the ability to have lights on or off and they haven't gone off yet. And we can also talk and help you with occupancy in the building with the halo. All of those are important things as you install them into the environments that we're talking about. From an environmental side, the big part in here is the fact that not only can we do temperature and humidity, but students like to try to remove the devices or cover the devices or use, and so we can basically tell you when somebody's tampering with the device. And the way we do events and notifications, you can say with the tamper, either send a message or we can just send a message over the Halo device itself. That's a pre-recorded WAV file that to stop tampering with the device, or we can just be completely silent and let the administrative staff know that somebody's tampering with the device in this particular area, and somebody should go address that. The other key part to this now is that not only are we, from a safety and security side, able to do a great deal of things, but with BACnet, that's how we can communicate automatically with those systems that are monitoring the efficiencies of your heating and air conditioning system so that we can adjust those with that communication. So that's an area that we've just come up with as well with the Halo device. So as we look at the Halo device, coming back to that, we've been out in the market for over 2 years. We have been recognized in the industry over the last 2 years, having won numerous devices and various industry awards that come with that. So this says 28. We're now over 30 different awards with regards to our products. So the industry, our resellers, and our end users have provided us great recognition and to the product for Halo. The aspect that's important here with the Halo is that it is a device that's an intelligent device on the edge, which means it makes all the decisions right there immediately, and able to communicate that to a large number of different third-party systems to date. Because what's important as you look at Halo, and if you've got it in privacy areas, we're telling you the events are occurring. But in the area of surveillance, we can now tell you when somebody went into a bathroom and came out and what times that are at the same time the event occurred for vaping or vaping with THC. So you get that video verification that helps you with the proper procedures that you need to take with regards to confronting those that are vaping in your schools and shouldn't be. So we have third-party integrations with numerous video management systems, emergency management systems, with building management systems, access control systems. And so these are just a few of the many that we work with in terms of integrations with Halo to get you the information that you need at the proper time. So, and here is that when we're talking about the ability to monitor the environment, we've also established it so that it works with the EPA standards that you may be familiar with. If you were to do a Google on AQI, you would see that this comes up as terms of how the EPA has provided standards for measurements of air quality. And so we're able to provide this information to you through the Halo device. So what I want to try to do now before we get to the Q&A is I want to take you and show you an actual live demonstration of the device. I got logged out, so I'm going to come back in. So give me half a minute. So what we have here is a device that's out in New York. I'm actually in Colorado. So you can see that we have the ability to go across a large geographic area with these devices. But this is a live demonstration of a halo in our New York facilities.
You're
What
not
you
the screen yet with the browser. You're still on the presentation.
Thank you for that. I'll stop sharing and come back. Let's see here. Bear with me. Why did it go away? There we go. So we'll go here. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
You got it. You're in Celsius, just so you know.
So now you have the ability to see the actual dashboard for the Halo device. And so it's been set up for schools for what you see here. So we're showing you what we can do is in terms of color coordination, if you will. Green says things are good, and they will turn red when they actually go past a certain threshold. So you can quickly see all of the sensors and the measurements that are going on in the dashboard for each one of those. So that's your basic dashboard view of the Halo. So then what happens then in terms of how you get through configuring the unit is that we have to establish it on the network. So you'll see how we can help you do that in terms of setting up the device for network connections or BATnet connections with the device. The next part of that is once you've established your network is what users have the ability to go in and set up the Halo units and what access people will have respective to that. Once you've decided what users are going to have the ability to configure the units, then the next thing you do is you establish events. And I'm trying to get to the events. I'm going to hide that. We'll go here. So in your events is where you decide which ones are going to show up on my dashboard and what thresholds that I give them. So you'll see here that we've established the ones for that normally happen with the schools and the events that go with them and the ability to set the thresholds for them. And you have the ability to test when you've got everything set up. So for example, if I was to do a vaping event, I could test that, and then I can come back to my dashboard, and you'll see that I have a red that showed up because it went past the threshold. So you get it very quickly. The other thing that then occurs is you get your email or your text that for that event as well. So that's how you get to setting up your events. Now, there's a small list of events that you see, but there are if you look at the list, a numerous number of events that you could establish to customize the halos for other things that you may want to be notified of on your dashboard. So it has that capability of customization. So once you
topic, we had a question that came in about Halo's capability to detect sanitizing of a room. If you can address that, or I'll address it.
So yes, so from the standpoint of being able to sanitize or know you can set schedules up for sanitizing and understand what that sanitation is. So through the Halo, we can measure from all the different things that you see down here in terms of particulates. We can tell you, for example, if you're sanitizing the room with ammonia, or we can set up schedules so that when you're sanitizing the room, we're not doing our monitoring of events that would be a distraction to that.
Want me to elaborate on that, Steve? So when you sanitize the room, you're going to use different chemicals, and we can see some of those different chemicals through Halo and identify what they are. So while each may be different, we can take a look at what a particular location looks like, whether it's the volatile organic compounds, the CO2 levels, the ammonia levels, or the particulate levels. We have a number of different methodologies to customize that signature for a specific location and identify when a cleaning schedule is and set alerts for that.
Perfect. Thank you, Jonathan, for elaborating on that. Jonathan Antar is someone else I work with. Asked him to be here to back up on those kinds of things. All right. So the next thing is, once you've got your event set up that you're going to monitor, the next part is, well, what actions do I want to have? Well, the Halo allows you to do various things in terms of actions too. We talked about sending emails, setting text messages, but we also have the ability to, with the relays, to turn cameras on and off. We have the ability to turn on lights, which would be helpful if you're in an area where a spill might have occurred in a science lab area where you want the LED light to say flash red, which helps people understand that this is a room not to go into. But we can also set up wave files that you can be customized for when a threshold is exceeded and you want to not only have a text message and a light blinking, but you want to give instructional messages of things to do when that event occurs. The next area is also then after you've done your actions, you set up your notifications. And this is where you can say, for my text messages, I want to know about the time, the date, what event occurred, and set that up so that those are the notifications that I get. So it's important when you set up your Halos that you give them the proper names or not proper names, but the accurate names about where the event is occurring for those bathrooms, if you will, as one example, or hallways and classrooms. So this is how you get it set up so the events show up on your phone. All right. So then from there, then we go into messaging, which allows us to then talk to third-party systems as one example, so that the third-party systems knows exactly what's going on, so that they can inform you of what the event was through that system, whether that be through a VMS or an access control or a mass notification system. All right, so then that's really how the Halo works, how it's installed, and how you configure it for use. So with that, I'd like to set it up this time now for questions that you may have.
Steve, you mentioned something about the mass notification. So when you're saying text or emails, it could also connect and be able to send a large message out in general to the educators or staff members to warn them of an event separately than the normal text and email. Is that what you mean by that?
That's correct. That's correct. So when you're actually working, because schools will have a mass notification system already in place, right? So we're just tying into that as another instructional area, if you will, to help teachers and administrators know what to do, and even students. Where this could apply mostly to is if you have an event that's a gunshot and you want to be able to notify people of where that gunshot is and appropriate directions to take to get out of the building.
That's exactly, I was thinking here in Florida, we have a lot going with that Alyssa's law and the need that schools have to have something in place to get notification out, not only to emergency, but to staff members and, anybody else that's involved at the school. So I just wondered how that connects.
Yep. So it's not only mass notification, but any kind of digital signage that you want to use with it as well, right? That's another way that can be done. Jonathan, you want to add anything to that as well?
Only that, because Halo is very flexible in the way that it can deliver information to the end user's hands, Whether it be those third-party connections. We do connect directly with a number of mass notification systems. We do have 2 relays built onto them that can connect into other systems if there is no software integration. We also do connect through software integration to a number of other security platforms that can then deliver the information as well, such as surveillance platforms. And then we also have our method of delivery going through email and email to text. So it can be distributed in that manner as well. And a lot of those other systems will connect into the end user's own email system in order to make that occur. With all of that being said, one of the really powerful parts to Halo is the way it was designed with intelligence on the edge, meaning that everything is done in the device itself. So what that means for the end user is that the information gets delivered very quickly. So you're talking about seconds from when an event occurs till it's delivered into your hands, as opposed to minutes with, if you had like some type of a cloud solution only, it would take a lot longer. This is much faster than that intelligence rate in the device.
Yeah, so the variability that you have in terms of response is just how long it takes the particulates to get from the person to the halo. That's the only variable.
Right, or the sound to the device, which is at the speed of sound.
Other questions?
I hate to keep asking them, but for schools that currently have the Halo Smart Sensor, and if their system or dashboard look differently, is there a way for them to upgrade this? Does it do it automatically? How does that work?
Okay, so from the standpoint of on our website, our latest version is firmware 2.21, and you can get that off of our website. And to that point, one of the exciting things we've done with respect to that is that anybody who currently has our Halos installed, if you download the most recent version of Halo, then we will also extend your warranty for an additional 6 months when you do that. Excuse me. Any other questions? All right, well, I'll close it out with a couple of things to make you aware of is that ELB is one of our authorized resellers out there that you can work with in terms of getting site walkthroughs done, in terms of how to use the Halo. They're versed on and have been trained to help you configure the devices and get them installed. So please reach out to them with any questions that you may have about doing your installations. So with that, I appreciate your time and look forward to the future dialogues that we may have with you with regards to Halo.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate all the information that you have provided us with. At this time, I'm going to show you a few more slides, but I do want to put a link into our chat box. Again, that chat box is, you can access that by going to the top right-hand corner. There is a speech bubble. In the chat box, you will find a Google form. Right now, if you fill out that Google form, you'll be entered to win an Amazon gift card. I don't know what teacher or principal does not like Amazon at this time, but you will be entered to win a free Amazon gift card. This form is just to help us get to know who our audience is a little bit more and see if there's anything else that ELB can do to present more information that you're looking for and different solutions that you may be looking for at this time. So again, that form is in the chat box. But I also wanted to share a little bit of information with you all as well in regards to our gap assistance program that we have. Gap, our little tagline is, let us help you fill in the gap between what you have and what you need. This gap program, what it is it is a grant team. We will work with you to help you find a grant that will fit those needs you may have. You may be interested in Halo, but need a little bit more funding. We can absolutely help you find a grant for that and apply it towards getting you suited out. We created this GAP program because we noticed that a lot of schools, our funding have gone towards other PPE to help us get ready for brick and mortar. Our funding is drained quickly this year. So we really wanted to make sure that we created a program to help you find the money that is absolutely out there. This program is completely free. All you would need to do is speak to your BDM, or if you don't know who your business development manager is, you can absolutely email us at grants@elbglobal.com. And what we'll do is we'll send you a form to have you fill out, and then we'll meet with you one-on-one to better assist you in finding those funds that are out there. Again, this entire program is free. We do the research, we do the writing, we do it all for you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the grants team at grants@elbglobal.com, and we'd be more than happy to assist you. At this time, if there are no other questions or comments, we will end the session, but we'll definitely stick around to make sure that if there are any lingering questions or concerns, that you absolutely get those addressed. So thank you, everybody. Steve, thank you so much for being here with IP Video, and we look forward to seeing everyone again with our upcoming webinar sessions, which I almost forgot to announce. Our next ones will be back to school using flexible furniture to create those safe environment and learning spaces. October 19th, our webinar on creative ways to connect and collaborate with all your students, whether you're doing hybrid or blended. And then again, tools to support that hybrid and blended learning model. So everyone, thank you so much for your attendance. We really appreciate it, and we do hope to see you at our next webinar sessions.
Kate, thank you so much. You guys
Thank
have a
you.
great day now. Take care.
You as well. Thank you.